All right, so let's begin our Ninja Gold demo. So bring this back up. I'm going to be just building this project on my desktop. You guys should, of course, be creating these files wherever you guys are keeping your Python projects or your Flask projects. But I need to make my Ninja Gold directory, Ninja Gold. And inside Ninja Gold, I will touch my server.py file. Then I will make directory templates. Then I will make directory static. So if I ls, I should see server.py, static, and templates. Cool. I'm going to cd into templates and touch index.html, cd out of templates, cd into static, and touch style.css. Then go back to my project root directory and open up Atom. And I should see my server.py file. You guys probably can't see that. But that says server.py. That says index.html. And this says style.css, all in their appropriate folders. Sound good? All right, cool. So I'm just going to go into my platform here. I'm going to be relying heavily on my platform so that as you guys rewatch the video, you guys know where to find the code snippets that you guys might need to reference stuff. So let's see. Maybe hello Flask. So here's just your standard Flask, how to start up a Flask server, right? You guys have all seen this before? Maybe I want something like this. Oops. In my server.py file. Also, Python, as you guys all know, enforces indentation. So if you guys are copying and pasting snippets of code, remember to always fix those indentations. I've had to help a couple of students out with that, so just keep that in mind. This is where we load our dependencies and create our Flask app. This is our just root route app. When we hit this route, we run this method, which for now just really returns a render template function of index.html. I'm not going to need any of these. And then, of course, our app.run. Great, so let's bring up our index.html file, bring up some boilerplate HTML, Ninja Gold. Let's put this in an h1 tag. And let's make our Ninja Gold color red. How do I load my style sheet into my HTML? Let's check out the platform. Ah, look at this. Put that in there. Of course, the name of the style sheet has to match, right? As long as it's in the static folder, all I have to do is provide the relative file path from within the static folder. Right now, the file just sits in there. I don't need a relative file path, or rather, my relative file path is just to name the file itself, which is style.css. So with all of these things, I have some code in my server.py, which will serve my index.html at my root routes. I'll have my index.html, which just has an h1 of Ninja Gold, and my CSS will color that h1 red. So how do I start up my server? Yep. Python, and then the name of my server file, right, which is server.py. Hit that, and it says that I am running on localhost 5000. This is just another way to write localhost. That's just your local IP. Sorry, one sec. I'm going to make these big screen. Great. So if I open up a new window and go to localhost 5000, there we have it. I've served up my index.html using my server.py, and I'm also utilizing my, my style sheet. Sound good? All right, so my setup is complete. I know that was pretty quick, so any questions? Great. So let's continue on then. So bear with me because a lot of this, the first like 10 minutes is just going to be building some HTML. But hey, it's a refresher of web fundamentals, right? So let's build out this template first. Index.html. Let's have a div called container, and let's style my margin 0, padding 0. Just get my reset in there. Dot container. Let's give it a width of 960 pixels. Let's give it a height of, I don't know, 800 pixels for now, and a border of 1 pixel solid black. Great, so there it is. I'm going to set margin 0 auto so that it centers itself in the screen. You guys all see that? Yeah, this resolution sucks. Great, so now I have my container. Let's make this cool. Let's make the body background color black and this green. What did I do wrong? Oh, that's right. I was selecting a class of body, but I wanted to select my element of body. There we go. Cool. So we'll make it like a cool retro game. That'll be fun. With that, I need to create all of this markup. So maybe I'll have a div up here. That's that top banner that says like, or that's meant for total coins. And let's make dot total coins a height of 50 pixels, a width of just 100%. We want it to span across the whole thing. And let's give it a background color of just yellow for now. Great, so there it is. I'm gonna find an image. So let's practice loading static images onto our template because that's something that we haven't done yet. So maybe something like this. File, save image as. Get that into my ninjagold, into my static folder. Great. So now, if you see here, that's my style.css, and that's my, I guess, jiffy.gif file. How do I load an image onto my template? It's pretty similar syntax to your style sheet, right? It's like : view URL4 static, right? So if you guys want to, you can reference the platform for that. Let's just plug that in. File name is going to be jiffy.gif. Let's come back. There it is. Let's adjust the height of that. It should be in the static portion. It's called static files right here. Yep. Great. And I will have probably like a counter for how many total coins I have right next to that coin GIF, right? So it might look something like this, like a 0 or something like that. Right now, I don't have any coins or anything like that. So let's do something like total coins equals 0, just to practice sending data from our server to our template. How do I do that? How do I pass this to my template? In here? Yeah, I need to pass it through my return statement. So whatever we want to name the variable on my template, we just define it here. and then we set that variable equal to the variable that we have, which in this case, they're the same name. So total coins equals total coins. In here, what do I do here? Can I just do like this? There it is. It's black text on black background. But it's there. How do I get this up here? Yeah. Dot total coins h1 display inline block. What? Where is it? Oh, it's an h2. There it is. Let's vertical align it to the top. Refresh. Let's make that a little bigger. Make that an h1. That means we have to make this an h1. Give it line height of 50 pixels. There we go. Does that look good? Let's make that color something green too. Oops. And then we can remove this background color. Great. So far, so good. All right. Blast from the past from Web Fundamentals. I'm having fun with this. Great. So now we got to build this part out. Should be relatively simple because what do you imagine these boxes? I mean, they'll all probably share the same class, right? Yeah. Great. So let's go back and start building that out. Div called box is fine. Let's give this dot box a width of, I don't know, 200 pixels and a height of 200 pixels. Maybe make this 220. I don't know. Yeah. And a border of 2 pixels solid, and I like this green color right here. There it is. Great, and I'm going to need some text inside of there. What is my text supposed to say? Farm. And a p tag that says, oops, earns 10 to 20 gold. And a button. How would I create a button here? What do you imagine this element is going to be? A submit button, right? So that needs to be a part of a what tag? Form tag, right? This is going to be a form. These are all forms that are submitting post requests to our backend, right? So form, we'll fix all of this up in a minute, but form input type what? Submit, which will make it a button and not a, like a input tag or whatever. And value, what was the value? Find gold. Gold. I love gold. Great. So let's refresh. All of that text is black. Let's move this down here. Refresh. How can I maybe center this into the middle of the box? Text align center. Oh my gosh. Who taught you guys WebFund? Oh my goodness. You guys are so good at WebFund. Text align center. There we go. Now it's all centered. Maybe I'll add some margin to some stuff just to space it out a little bit more. Dot box h1 margin top 20 pixels. Maybe I'll give my dot box p tag margin of 10 pixels and 0 pixels. Let's see what that looks like. My H. What?
H2.
Is it an H2? I thought I changed it to. Oh, it is an H2. Thank you. There we go. Maybe we'll give this more, like 35. Oh, oh my goodness. Not at all. There we go. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Cool. Oh, that's not going where it's supposed to go at all. Great. So let's make this box 4 times. How do I get these side by side? Oh my gosh. Display inline block. Let's maybe give it a margin like left of like 10 pixels. See what that looks like. Great. Looks pretty good. Let's push it down a bit. Let's give total coins margin bottom of like 30 pixels. That's it? Come on, man. Okay, that's a little better. Great, and then we'll have a box down here to log all of the like activity strings. But for now, this is pretty good. Let's go back and change this. Can someone read these out to me? What's the second box? Cave. What's the coins? 5 to 10. And the next one? House. What's that? 2 to 5. It's not much at all. 2 to 5. And last one, casino. Let's say plus/minus 50 gold. Refresh. Farm, cave, house, casino. Plus minus 2, 5, 5, 10, 10, 20. Cool. Looks good. So let's talk about these forms. So we're looking at these boxes here. Where do these forms need to go? Or in other words, what does this action attribute need to hold? The routes of, what does the assignment say? Process money. So all of these routes, all of these need to be / process money. Are these post methods? I think so. See, I think there should be post methods. Yeah. So we'll leave posts. We don't need these classes. It's just clutter. Great. So now we have these routes. So if I refresh my page and I click on any one of these buttons, what do you guys imagine will happen? Error? Why? Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. So if I click on this, it's going to try to go to /process money, right? And it says not found. The requested URL was not found on the server. Great error message. Where was it not found? On the server. So where do I need to go? To the server, right? And then add the route. Exactly. So let's go to my server. So this is the this is what the client sees, and this is what the server is. So what do I need to do here? At app.routes, and in here I pass the route that we called. Yeah, so process money. What else do I need to define here? That it's a post route. Exactly, that's a post request. Where does that? Well, how do I do that? Comma. Is it method or methods? Methods. You guys might have run into that. It's on the HTML template. The attribute is method, but back here, make sure that you have an S here. Just keep that in mind. And then what does it equal? Does it belong in an array? Like this? Okay, and let's have a function. A lot of the times you just name the function similar to what the route is doing, in this case processing money, so we'll also call this process money. And let's console.log in the money routes. Great. And then what I will have this route do is redirect back to my root route, because this is this route is a method that I'm just stopping by to do some calculations and maybe adjust some stuff, and then re-render the HTML page, right? So how do I redirect? Return, whoops, return, redirect. Yeah, I do want it to be a print. That's funny. Thank you. Return, redirect. Is this the syntax for redirect? Just slash? Then I need to include redirect, right? All right. Let's see if this works. Oops. So I'm gonna refresh. My server's crashed. Going to refresh, and when I click this button, what should I expect to see? Nothing. Well, I mean, we'll expect to see the same page, but then if I go back to this, I should expect to see some print statements, right? So I'm going to click this in the money route. I'm going to click this button, also in the money route. I'm here, also in the money route. Sound good? So now our routes are working. We're hitting these routes, and we're redirecting back to our index page. So far, so good. All right, you guys tell me. What should I do next? Victor said create the activities box. That's good. I'll get to that later because yeah, I'll add that as my last piece if we have time. So besides the activities box, should I maybe be able to distinguish between which button I pressed, right? Because all 4 of those buttons are submitting to the same routes, but each of those buttons are supposed to do different things, right? The first one's supposed to give me 10 to 20. The third one's supposed to give me 2 to 5. When they're all routing to the same post route, how am I to distinguish which form sent that request? I'm going to need some if statements, yes, that's for sure. But if what? So I'm going to need to hide some information in these forms. I'm going to need to hide a little bit of information in each of these forms that are a little bit different, where when that form sends it to my server I can ID which form sent it. And we can do that with hidden inputs. Okay? So we've... back in WebFund, we learned that whatever different argument that we pass into this type attribute, the what's displayed is different, right? If we put in type submit, it's a button. If we put type radio, it becomes a radio button. If we put type checkbox, it becomes a checkbox, right? There's another one called input type hidden, which how do you think this will display on the UI? Nothing shows up. So this is a great way for us to hide certain pieces of information just right into our forms. So input type hidden. We need to give it a name. The name should be, yeah, like place. And the value for yeah, should be the name of the place. In this case, farm. Right? So I'm just going to copy each of these and put them in all of my forms, but of course change the value. The name will stay the same. They're all different places, but the values will then reflect where they're coming from. Cave, house, casino. So now all of these forms are submitting to the same route, but now we can set up a series of if statements that say if request.form house or place equals cave or equals house or equals casino, and then we can start differentiating between which form sent the request. So let's do that. Let's, instead of printing in the money route, let's print, how do I print something that came through from a form? Request, it's part of the request object that is made when you guys make the request. Dot form, which is the object that's created when a form is submitted, and then it has a series of key pair values in there, right? What's the key that I'm concerned with? Place. Place, exactly. So if I print request.formPlace, let's print that multiple times, go back to ninjagold and refresh, and I click this button, oh, darn. What did I forget to do? Up there? Exactly. I forgot to import request. Oh, save. Allow my server to restart. Go back. Okay, so now if I click this button, I will see farm. If I click this button, I'll see house. If I click this button, I'll see casino, and so on and so forth, right? So now, instead of just printing request.form place, we can, like Odina said, do a series of if statements, right? If request.form place equals farm, then we could print in the farm, right? So let's but change this to, what were they? Cave, house, casino. So now let's take a look back here. When I click this, I get in the farm. When I click this house button, I click in the house, so on and so forth, right? So now my forms are hitting they're hitting the same post request, but now we're able to kind of do what we want to for each. Well, you guys get what I'm saying. Each form that made the request, right? I cannot believe how much it's snowing right now. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, yeah. For those of you watching this video in the summer of 2048, I don't know why you're watching this video in 2048. It's snowing a lot in Seattle today. Great. Yes, that sounds awesome. Yeah. Great. So our forms are submitting the same post request. Looks great. So now let's start doing some stuff. What stuff? I'll leave it to you guys. What should I do next?
You might want to return some coins.
I should generate coins. Yeah, I need to start generating some coins. So, how can I do that?
Well, in this case, you set ranges of coins there.
Yeah, so I want to generate a random number between X and Y.
Yeah.
Anyone know how to do that? Math? Is there a math object in Python?
Oh, sorry.
I don't think there is. Oh, I got to import random. Okay, and then how do I use the random object? Random dot is a capital R. Just rand range, like this. Like this. Do you know if it's inclusive, inclusive or exclusive? Exclusive. So the first number is inclusive.
The first one is. The second one, you gotta go one higher.
Okay. So 2 and 6 will give me. So 2 is inclusive. 2 can be included, but 6 is exclusive. So it's up to 6. Okay. So let's print this. Refresh. Cannot import name random. What?
Oh, no, you don't import it at the top, you import it right above where you're. Right above the app class.
From where?
Right under.
Just
Not there. Oh, sorry.
just import random? Oh, is it not from Flask? Is it directly from Python?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. The random object is part of Python, not specifically Flask. My mistake. Great. So here we go. Refresh. Click this button. I got a 2. Click this button. Got a 4. Click this button. 3. Click it many, many, many times. 4, 4, 5, 2. Yeah. So it looks like that range is working pretty good. So let's print rands. I'm going to move this down below. Let's do the same thing for the cave. And the casino. So what is the range for cave? And then house. Oh, so what was farm then? 5 to 10?
So gate is 5 to 10.
Gotcha. And this was, does this work like this? Negative 50? Does that work? Okay. Great. So let's check it out. Refresh. I'm gonna click the house. Found $5 at the house. Ooh, found $5 at the house. What? Am I just getting really lucky at the house? Yeah, 4. Go to the casino. Made $44. Made $31. Made $36. Oh my gosh, I'm on a roll. 43. Can't lose. Oh, I lost $20. Okay, cool. So now we know that our random ranges are working. So any questions up until this point? We've done a lot. We've built our front end. We built our UI. We've built 4 forms in each of these boxes. All of them are submitting the same post request, but with a little hidden input that flags where it came from. And in our server file, we are now differentiating between which form submitted the request or made the request and generating random gold units based on what we said they would. Great. So we're generating these numbers, but now we need to start keeping a sum of all of those numbers, right? We need to keep track of where we started, how much we made, how much we lost, so on and so forth. That sounds to me like we're going to need to hold on to that data persistently across multiple requests. We will need to use session for that. That is really exactly why we use session. Your HTTP GET or your the HTTP request and response cycle are stateless, meaning that they don't hold on to the data that you have, right? So if you submit information through a request, then it exists really for that just single cycle. So data exists on a single cycle, a request and a response. But if you need that data to be held persistently across your entire session, then we use session for that. And that's the same across all languages, right? So that's more of a web development thing, less of a Python thing. So keep that in mind for the rest of your bootcamp. But yeah, we'll need to use session. Where do I import session from? From Python or from Flask? Let's take a look at sessions. So we include session here. We'll need a secret key. Okay. Okay, so hopefully that didn't break anything. Great, so now we have session. And the session or session is really just an object or a dictionary. How do dictionaries hold data for you? In pairs. In key value pairs, right? So if you want to store something in session, just give it a key name. Like here we see session key, session key, whatever you want, and we set it equal to a value, and that will be stored in session across your requests. Okay, so let's do that. So what do I need to store in session? How many coins, how much money I have, right? Exactly. So I need to store that in session. So I can't keep total coins as just a local variable in this one route, right? Or in this one request. Because again, this will get lost or reset at every stage, at every request that we make. So instead we're going to use session. So we're going to do if session total coins. How do you ask if something exists? Yeah, because we need to know if that key pair value exists or not. So if session total coins equals null, then we're going to set session total coins equal to 0. Okay. So now, can I access sessions directly in my template? No, I have to pass it through. Okay. So total coins is now going to be set to what? Session total coins. Like so. Let's see if I totally blew something up. Refresh. Oh, total coins doesn't exist. Wait, why doesn't it exist? Total coins. Key error. How do I do this? If not, can I not do that? Is that not valid Python syntax? If, hold on, how do you use try catch? Anyone help me out with what I got?
Instead of that, what you do if total points is not in session?
Ah, that's what it is. If, how do you write that again? Check, or hold on. Python check to see if value not in session.
Put the key value, if key not in session.
If total coins
Yeah.
not in session?
Yeah.
What? You serious? Dang, Python. Whoa. That is awesome. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, looks like there are a bunch of keywords built into Python and Flask that allow you to quickly and easily check if a key exists in session or not. So if this string is not in session, then create the key pair value for session. Cool. The reason I have to do this if statement here, because if I bring this back, and refresh is, oh shoot, never mind. What will happen next time I come into session? Yeah, I'll just keep resetting it to 0, right? And if I want to perform some type of like mathematical operation on something, then I have to check to see if it exists in the first place, because I can't do math on something that's null, right? Okay, so if total coins is not in session, then set session total coins equal to 0. And then I pass this value through my template, read the template here, and it is displayed here. Okay, so now what can I start doing with my session variable? Yeah, instead of just printing random range, right, I can now add this to my session. Can I do this? Is this valid syntax? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, let's check it out. Refresh. Whoa, it's working. 18, 33, 49, 61. Sweet. These don't work yet. Great, so let's make those work. So all I did up till now was I've created a variable in session called total coins. That's all this line did. So now we have this persistent variable across our application called what? Total coins. Yeah, total coins, and that's being stored in session, right? So as I make this request, I am adding to what's stored in session, whatever this returned to me. So a random number between 10 and 21. Cool? So now I can do this. And let's go back. Oh, and if you guys want that to go back to 0, you gotta restart your server. Because now it's a new session. What? Oh. Yeah, you're right. How can I get this to clear?
Settings. Maybe hard refresh.
A hard refresh? I don't think that'll clear your cookies or anything, because that's where your sessions are stored.
The two ways I know is, yeah, you can do it in there and clear your cookies, or you can put in session.clear one time in your server.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
You just like put it at the top and then take it back out, but I'm just gonna clear my cookies.
Let's just do this. Let's create a new route. Let's do new game. And what am I going to do in here? Is it session.clear? Like this?
So yeah.
Let's see if that works. Great. So all I did was add a new route just for a new game. What route does it hit? Yeah, /new game. So I set up a corresponding app route to accept that request. When it hits this, I just session.clear, and then I redirect. That'll be easier than me just resetting stuff over and over again. Great. So let's test this out. Find gold. I found 17. Go to my house. I'm making a little bit less money. Go to the casino. Oh. Never give up. Never give up.
You're gonna break even. You can do it.
My dad taught me better than to quit. Oh, darn. All right, I'm walking out. 2 more games. 1, 2. Come out on top. Yeah. Great. So, perfect. We got most of this game working. Let's check the wireframe to see what pieces we're missing. Farm, processes. Then we're printing stuff out like this. Okay, great. Looks good. What next?
Log your winnings in.
Just log your activities. Okay, let's do that. Anyone know how long it's been since we started this demo? Okay. Great. So let's create a div called activities and give dot activities a height of 100 pixels and a width of 800 pixels, margin 0 auto. Give it a border so that we can actually see it. Great, there it is. Let's actually give it margin 40 pixels. Auto. Great, looks good. What do we need in there? We need like a log of everything that's happened, right? So how do we do that? We just have to start stitching together strings that we need to start storing, right? So like you made concatenate number, concatenate gold from the concatenate whatever the request.form place was. Does that make sense? Cool. If it makes sense, I'm going to have you guys write it for me. What do I need to write here? HTML string, sure. That's a. I'm going to get rid of this. So instead of just concatenating this right away, let's store that in a variable because we're going to need to use it. So farm money equals whatever that gives us, and we're going to concatenate farm money onto it. What do we also need to do with farm money? So maybe we have a string variable. Can't call it str. My string equals found X amount of gold at the farm. Okay, so how do I concatenate that variable right into there? I can do this in Python, right? Oh, I need to convert it into a string though, right? How do you convert an int into a string? String like this?
Yeah.
Great, perfect. So you're already seeing some languages are less flexible than JavaScript. Actually, probably every single language in the world is probably less flexible. And then let's print my string. Refresh. I'm going to find some gold. And it says, found 12 gold at the farm. And if we check our thing, oh, that's clear. Found 20, so this should say, found 20 gold at the farm. I'm gonna go to the farm again. So that time I made 11. So it should say found 11 gold at the farm. Yes? Great. So now I'm finding some money. Let's reproduce this in all of my routes. Let's call this cave money equals cave money. And let's call this house money. And this one will probably need an if statement, right? Depending on whether or not we made money or lost money, our message should be different. So we should do casino money equals that. We will then concatenate casino money onto our total. and say what?
You want
If,
to less than 0.
yeah, casino money is less than 0, then my string will be lost, that amount of gold at the casino. Else, 1. Great, and then I'll move this print string statement down to the end just before the return statement.
So, you want to do this at the end of the game. So do you have to do something to the end of the game?
We can do like win-lose conditions later.
Or
Yeah.
Do a cash out button or something.
Sure, yeah. Cool, so we've built a string, right? So whenever we hit this route, we'll have a string that says, or my string will be whatever we put together here. My string will be whatever we put together here. Whatever these if statements and these nested if statements do, my string will be generated based on whatever conditions we set. And then the last thing we do is we just print my string. Where? If else, oh yeah, thank you. House, cave, farm. Okay, so let's check it out. Refresh, find gold, found 12 gold at the farm. Go to the house, found 5 gold at the house. Casino, lost 24 at the casino. Go to the casino, lost 35 at the casino. Not my day. All right, so now everything's working. What piece are we missing, though? Oh, the timestamp. Yeah, we can worry about the timestamp after. But yes, for sure, we can start. Right now, I'm only reading or printing out the most recent thing that just happened, right? So I don't need the most, well, I do need the most recent thing that happened, but I need to keep like a history, like a whole log of what's happened since the beginning of my game, right? So what tool do we have where we can maybe keep that information? Session, yeah. So maybe we do something like if, can we keep arrays in session? I think we can. Yeah? I heard yeah, I'm going to go with it. If, let's call this log not in session, then set session log equal to an empty array. Sound good? So, what should we do then with my string?
Make it equal to the array that you just created.
Yeah, we should push it into my array, right?
Yeah.
Cool, so let's do that. So instead of printing my string, we do what?
Push, whatever it's called.
We'll do session
Push.
log. How do you push into an array? Is it dot append? Can I do this?
Yeah.
What? I guess I can. Let's see if anything breaks. Whoa. Okay, cool. So then let's, as we push this into our session log, let us pass session log to our front end through our template the same way we did here. So log equals session log. And let's just take a look at what our log looks like. Let's do style, activities, color. Great. So if you guys can see that, that's just an empty array right now. Find gold. It says found 19 gold at the farm. Click this. Found 10 gold at the cave. Click this. Lost minus. We should say lost 10 gold at the cave, right? Do you guys know how to like absolute a number in Python? Is it just abs? And then cover it in the parentheses? Nice. So click this, 114 gold. Bad operands. Type. Oh, I did that backwards. This needs to go abs here. Oh man. Cool. So click this, and it says now it's not a lost negative 11 gold at the casino. It's not a double negative. It just says lost 11 at the casino. House, 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 cave, 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 farm, 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 casino. Great. What now, though? Right now, we're just displaying a literal array on the screen, right?
So you want to put in like a break or each return or something like that.
Not quite. It is a list. So what do we need to do with log?
Put it into a unordered list or something like that.
No. So at this, I want to make this look like this. Not the colors. We'll get to the colors later maybe, but I want to turn this array or list into just its own separate tags, p tags. I just got to loop through it, right? It's an array. I have to loop through my list, right? How do I write a for loop on my Jinja template? And okay, so maybe something like this and this. What goes in here? For activity in
And
log like this. Do I need an end here? I don't need an end. Do I need something that looks like this? N4, that's right. Okay, so let's put a p tag that just says what? Log like this. It doesn't seem to be working. Why am I not seeing anything? Help, guys. Is there a place where I can learn about this? You'd use a for loop or an if statement in Jinja.
One curly brace
Mm-hmm.
followed by a %sign.
Some action here. Ah, here we go. So for x in range, 0 times. Okay, so I think that's what I was missing. For act in range. What goes in range? 0.
like
Maybe like this?
And then a log
Yeah.
path.
Like this?
yeah.
Log and array.
Oh, you can't use the len method. Yeah, log is an array.
So I think you want log to be the first thing because you want to go backwards through it so that each line, the first one.
Oh, that's fine. We'll get to doing that the other way, but I just want to for loop through my log.
To do length, you have to do it in your render template, in your root, and then you set length equal to the len.
Oh, because the len. So the len method does not exist on Jinja templating. So Jinja is what interprets your Python code for you, and sometimes they'll just like leave certain methods and stuff out that are supported in Python but not in Jinja. So the workarounds that Connor thought of was just before you pass or as you pass all of these things forward. Set log length equal to len of. Yep, and then now we can just send that integer forward.
Yeah, I found out that Jinja supports the, I think it's deprecated now, but the underscore len underscore.
Oh, do they have one of their own? I can look through the documentation later. We'll just work with this for now. Yeah.
They may not be spelled the same between both places.
Log length. Log length. Log length. Length. Is there a G in length?
Yeah.
I'm just spelling it wrong. So from 0 to whatever number there are, loop through it, and log of act. Ah, there we go. Let's does anyone know how to make a div like contain so it scrolls? Overflow Y?
Yeah.
Set to scroll? Oh my gosh, you guys are so smart. Refresh. Cool, there we go. So, now we are looping through all of our activities. So forget that. I'm going to create a new game. And what Connor was mentioning was that as we as new events kind of appear, they're added to the bottom of the list. So as we kind of get to this stage, they're kind of buried down here. So then how can we change that around? Can we just reverse the array? Can you Python reverse an array? Is there a method for that? What? List reversed array? What does reversed return if not a list? Okay. Anyways. Let's set this to session log. So the reversed list will be there, and then we will set log to reversed list. Did I break anything? New game. So now, as I go to the farm, they're now added to the top. Cool? All right. Any questions? No? Do you guys feel like you could recreate what I just did?
Watch the video a couple times.
Yeah?
I've been
Good. Aside from a lot of the stuff that we did at the end there, kind of like the fine tuning of like reversing the array, like making this like auto scroll, all of that stuff, of course, is like nice to have stuff. But hopefully by this point, you guys are seeing that from my index routes or from my index.html, I'm just sending requests to my server, and my server is just handling a couple of series of different if statements, right? But for the most part, just generate a random number, concatenate that number onto your total number of coins, and then create a string for it. Create a random number, add that number to session, create a string for it, right? Create a random number, add it to session, write a string for it, and so on and so forth. And then at the end, you just add that string to your session log, right? And then redirect to the top, pass that information to your template. Cool. All right, guys. Well, with that, then we'll close the demo. If you guys want to color these differently based on whether you made money or lost money, you guys can take that on as a challenge if you want. But yeah, I'll close the demo for now and answer any other questions that you guys might have.